99% of guys out there are simply too nice, and you could be one of them. And even if you are, it's not your fault because somebody else or society in general has programmed you to be that way. But that's about to change right now, because what you're about to learn are a few simple ways to stop being so nice, which could transform you into a more attractive, stronger, and better all-around man. So with that said, let's get right into it. Number 1, have higher standards. Realistically, if you are too nice to people, at some point somebody will take advantage of you. And guys who are too nice are frequently taken advantage of by both men and women. So what do you do to stop this from happening? And the answer is to have higher standards for how people treat you. For example, imagine you're with a group of buddies and one of them makes a joke about you and everyone starts laughing. This is something that guys do and it's totally normal. Now, what if this same friend kept making jokes about you every single time that you're with him, and the jokes went from lighthearted and fun to downright disrespectful? At this point, it is time to say something to him about it. You see, men who are too nice tend to tolerate too much from other people, whether it's somebody cracking jokes about them or just the way that people behave towards them. So to stop being too nice, you have to set high standards for yourself. If the girl that you like is always playing too hard to get, know what your limit is and then cut her off immediately after she crosses the line. And apply these standards for yourself to all areas of your life, and never tolerate any behavior towards you that crosses the line or that overly disrespects you. Number 2, speak with conviction. I see this all the time, and one of the fastest ways to tell if a guy is too nice is to pay close attention to how he says something. A guy who's too nice tends to speak with little to no conviction or with no personality. So when you're ordering food from somewhere and they ask you if you want it for here or to go, tell them what you want with conviction. Speaking with conviction is speaking in a way that shows that you know what you want. So when someone asks you something, speak in a way that demonstrates this. Number 3, stop agreeing so much. I like to watch prank videos on YouTube occasionally, as we all do, and something that I see all the time when one of the pranksters approaches a guy who is too nice is that the guy simply agrees with everything that is said to him. And if you watch someone like Vitaly, you already know that this makes for a really funny prank video, but it is at the expense of the nice guy who is being pranked. Why? Because the guy who is making the prank video will walk up to the other guy and say something that is way over the line and is basically a huge insult straight to the guy's face, and the guy who is being pranked will simply agree with what was said. And like in many of the older videos from this guy, he will go up to people and tell them that they look super weak or do other really outrageous and in-your-face things like that. And the guys who are too nice will just simply agree with him and even try to explain to him why they're so weak. And while it's super funny to watch in a prank video, there's absolutely nothing funny about this if it happens to you when there are no cameras recorded. So if you're the guy who is always agreeing with people, simply practice purposefully disagreeing with other people, even about little things. So if they say, man, that movie was awful, but you liked it, instead of agreeing with them, challenge them instead. Ask them why they think the movie sucked, or why they think that particular type of food sucked. Number 4, stop tracking your good deeds. This is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make if you are too nice, and it is one of the biggest sources of frustration for so many men. You see, guys who are just too nice will do something nice for someone, especially girls, and then keep track of that deed along with hundreds of other nice things they did for people, and they will secretly expect something in return for all of these nice things that they did. Something that attractive, high-class men never do is keep track of such things because they simply give without expecting something in return. This is the sinister nature of being too nice, and it's what causes so many problems, because if you're always keeping track of the nice things that you do for other people and expecting nice things to be done for you in return, then you're going to get angry and you're going to start to resent people who don't repay you what you think you are owed for these things. So whenever you do something nice for someone, enjoy it for just a moment, but then forget about it and move on. Number 5, don't hold back. So many guys hold back when they really want to say something. And men who are too nice are so terrified of conflict and of people not liking them that they always hold back and never show who they really are. This is a huge problem because if you never express who you really are, then nobody will ever actually know who you are, and you will just come off as a generic, dull, and boring guy that nobody ever remembers. And trust me when I say that you guys don't want to be this guy. Now, if you only remember one thing, remember this. A man who doesn't hold back and says or does some things that make other people not like him is 100 times more of a man than one who is so afraid to rock the boat that he never demonstrates or shows off even a little bit of who he really is. So if you want to say something, then say it. If you want to do something, then do it. Don't be afraid of what others will think of you and let this fear hold you back from simply being you. Now, the sixth and final tip to stop being so nice ties perfectly into what was just said, and it's stop fearing confrontation. I remember I used to be terrified of confrontation because it is a very uncomfortable feeling, but only temporarily. And over time, as you start to embrace conflict more often, it quickly loses its grip over you. So you see, I used to be afraid to call out other men when they crossed the line, but now this is something that I'm happy to do. Many guys allow girls, and other men of course, to walk all over them verbally, all because they are so scared of confrontation. Imagine a bully in school who's picking on some little guy because he's skinny and weak. What if one day the kid finally stands up to him and he fights back, at least with his words? What do you think is going to happen? The bully in school always looks for the easiest targets, so even though the skinny guy might get punched or something, eventually the bully is going to move on. Once you start embracing confrontation, even if it's something as simple as not agreeing with other people's opinion, you will see that it's really not that scary at all. And in fact, embracing confrontation every time that you do it will make you feel more like a man than you've ever felt, which will build your confidence in who you are and make you a far more attractive man overall. And with that said, I'm Julian, and until next time, thanks for watching.